What ruins us faster, one big lie or many small ones we tell to keep the image alive? Keep that question close, because it may have your name on it. Tonight is a story about a promise that sold out a theater and a quiet lie that ended it. The person at the center is Avery Cole, who built a brand on radical honesty. People said Avery's voice felt clear and simple. People bought tickets to feel seen without makeup or script. Now look at the clock with me. It is Friday at 11:59 at night. A countdown is blinking on millions of phones. The weekly episode called No Edit Friday is late. The timeline bar is empty, and the chat fills with refresh messages. An intern sends a message that says we can export if we mute the bulldozer noise. The rule is no edits, and everybody knows it. The rule made the money, and the rule made the myth. The clock hits 0, and nothing drops. 30 minutes later, a video appears in a rush. The sound is very smooth even though there was loud noise outside. Someone cleaned the audio, and someone crossed the line. The first small lie does not crash hard. It is a small slip that keeps turning. By morning, the forums have forensic threads with timestamps and graphs. A user posts that the same street confession clip appears in 2 old vlogs. Another user points out a jump cut that hides a second take in the apology. The crowd that loved messy truth now hears editing on a raw story. They raise an eyebrow, and then they get angry. Under the noise, there is one quiet fact. Every creator cleans audio. Avery sold not cleaning as a rule. Let us rewind to the night the brand was born. Avery was broke, scared, and tired of smiling at a lens with nothing to say. They recorded a rough video and said, "I am done pretending, and I am going to tell the truth I can afford." People felt their shoulders drop when they watched it. The video looked simple and close, late at night. Sponsors saw conversion rates and booked a call. The next months were a lesson in how honesty becomes a product on a deadline. A team gathered and gave warm names to cold tricks. Ghostwriters learned to write stumbles as if it were a fingerprint. Editors learned to keep breath sounds but hide pauses. The brand called it honesty scaffolding, and fans called it love. Then came the tour with posters and promises. The promise said live, spontaneous Q&A with no pre-screened questions and no edits ever. The tour sold out before lunch. The first show was a rush of tears and hugs and stories that felt like medicine. Backstage, there were colored cue cards. Red cards held the questions that could blow up the night. Red cards did not reach the stage. The team told themselves it was safety, not control. A small lie can look like care if you let it. We return to the Friday miss. Avery posts a short story and blames a tech issue. The story sounds careful and kind, in a calm tone to calm people. People nod for a minute because they are kind too. Then the sleuths post audio waveforms, and the mood cracks. Sponsors stay calm for an hour and then send emails about clauses. One clause asks for honesty metrics with weekly charts. The metrics count minutes without edits and moments of spontaneous answers. It is a strange way to count trust. Truth does not trend, it accumulates. The team suggests a full truth video to get ahead of the storm. Avery writes into the night and tries to be open without being ugly. They turn on a soft lamp and sit close to the lens. The speech is strong and gentle and almost perfect. A jump cut lands in the middle of a tight phrase. People pause and scrub and count frames. The top comment says second take, and another says third take, and another says I feel dumb for trusting you. I do not enjoy this part of the story, but I will not look away from it. Nadia is the editor who can make an invisible cut with a trackpad and a coffee. She is kind, tired, and loyal to the work more than the myth. She used to believe that smoothing a line saved a message. Now she watches the message lose power under the smooth surface. Jonah is an ex who saw the before times when the batteries died in the field, and nobody cared. He remembers Avery laughing with a dead camera in their hands. He is angry at what fame did, and he is gentle with the person he once loved. Mara is a fan who once wrote that Avery saved her marriage with one episode. She now writes threads because she thinks words should mean what they say. These three are not a jury, because this is not a trial. They are mirrors that show different angles of the same face. The sponsor puts out a supportive statement on the hour. An internal deck leaks on the half hour. The deck shows how no edit was redefined to mean no sentence added or removed. It allowed mixing, color, sweetening, and noise cleanup. It was a contract between a company and a brand. The audience did not sign it. The audience signed with trust, which has no legal team and no refund form. Avery disappears for 2 days, and then for 5. The silence feels heavy. People guess rehab, retreat, or rebrand. The truth is panic in spreadsheets. Bills are due and venues want clarity, and a mortgage does not care about image. Avery tries a pop-up charity stream with no merch and only donations. Receipts later show the charity is a new nonprofit with a familiar treasurer. It is legal on paper and wrong in the heart. People call it grift, and I call it a rushed plan made of words. Every fall hits bottom, and every myth drops to a low point. The basement arrives when a small venue hosts a truly open Q&A. No cards, no pre-screen, and no exits except the truth. The first question is simple and heavy. It asks if the truth would survive if the income did not. Avery answers with a sentence that sounds right and feels wrong. The room hears the sound of a brand defending a person. The person is tired of being defended by a slogan. After the show, Avery sits on the floor of their flat and looks at the ceiling. The silence now feels crushing. There is a point where you decide if you are a product or a person. That point is not a speech, it is a bill paid with pride. Avery cancels the remaining tour dates without a press plan. They refund from their account, even when a sponsor refuses to reimburse. They sell the studio lights and return the rented gear. The next upload is shot on a cracked phone on a mug. The lighting is harsh, and the room looks like a room, not a set. The title says, "I will not say what I cannot do." The video is plain in a good way. It is a list of mess, debt, fear, envy, and a habit of saying yes when the soul said no. The views are lower, and the comments are kinder. Nadia posts her reel that shows how a no-edit cut is built. The reel is not revenge, it is education for anyone who wants to learn craft without lies. Jonah meets Avery at a diner with flat light and good coffee. He brings the dead battery from the old days, wrapped as a simple gift. They laugh once, and they feel lighter. Mara records a response that is not a takedown. She says maybe honesty is not a performance, but a frequency. I like that line because it is simple and true. Truth does not trend, it builds over time. It grows through small choices that nobody will clap for. Avery starts a tiny community with no dashboards and no promises that need a lawyer. The only promise says, "I will not promise what I cannot keep." A messy monthly maybe appears now and then about failure in progress. People do not binge it, and they do not fight under it. They write letters that feel calm and direct. If you want a clean arc, you will not find it here. You will find a person doing the slow work of being small and real. The missed episode was the hook, and the apology was the relief. The metadata thread was the turn, and the sponsorship pause was the next hook. The supportive statement was relief, and the clause leak was the turn. The charity stream was relief, and the receipt reveal was the turn. The live Q&A was relief, and the false-sounding answer was the turn. The cracked phone video is not relief for everyone, but it is relief for the one who made it. This is the hard part where the old self ends. Here the hard part is boredom on purpose and humility with no applause. The reward is not a trophy, it is a habit that holds on a bad day. You cannot scale a real apology, but you can live inside it. Forgiveness becomes easier when the performance stops asking to be loved. Avery still gets offers to do a comeback special with timed tears and careful edits. They say no more than they say yes. No is short and strong. No keeps a life smaller and truer. Nadia freelances for people who do not sell purity as a package. She sleeps better and drinks less coffee after midnight. Jonah dates someone new and keeps the dead battery on a shelf as a small totem. He smiles when he sees it because it reminds him that failure can be kind. Mara runs a small channel where she reads old essays about plain truth. Her comments are gentle because gentle people stayed after the noise left. Let us return to the first question. What ruins us fast? The big lie or the small ones we wrap around the image we sold? A big lie is loud and a small lie is slow. In this story, the slow part won for a while, and then someone did slow work to fix it. Truth does not trend, it adds up. That line is not a slogan, it is a map you can carry. Now a private moment that mattered more than a stage. Avery stood in a small kitchen with the phone face down and the lights off. They said one sentence with no camera on. They said, "I do not need to be amazing to be honest." That sentence did not make a thumbnail. It made a life. People love the sound of redemption when it comes with confetti. Real redemption is slow, and it saves you anyway. Do you want one more small loop of tension and relief for the road? A venue emails about a penalty for canceled dates, and the number is high. Avery asks for mercy, and the manager declines with a formal tone.
We must apply the policy as written.
The line is cold but honest, and it stings in a clean way. Avery pays, and the account balance is very low. Relief comes in a small envelope from a stranger with no return address.
Your work used to help me pretend, and now it helps me stop pretending.
The bill is not paid by that note, but the heart debt moves a digit. Nadia sends a one-line message late at night.
Proud of boring truth.
That is the sound of a team becoming a few friends again. Jonah calls and speaks one sentence that is simple and kind.
I like this version of you better.
There is no show, only a steady breath. The brain likes quick rewards, but we need calm to live. I should also tell you about the quiet fans who never comment. They listen while washing dishes, and they nod while tying shoes. They do not care about perfect sound if the words are clean. They do not clap for honesty, because honesty is not a show. They simply keep listening, and that is the best kind of rating. Could Avery have kept the brand and found the truth at the same time? Maybe for a week if we are generous, and maybe for a month if we are lucky. After that, a schedule starts to control you. This is not a rule for everyone, but it was a rule for Avery. Now let us shape the moral in one clear line. Honesty is not a brand, it is a habit. Brands break when pressure rises, and habits hold when nobody looks. Choose the small, honest life over the big, hollow one. The cost is boredom on a bad day, and the reward is sleep on a good night. You came for a little gossip, and I gave you a mirror. That is how this channel works, with a clear lesson under the story. Thank you for staying with me to the end of this story. If you liked this, please tap like, hit subscribe, and leave a comment about the small habit you want to keep. If you want to support the channel, please use the QR code at the bottom right or the link in the description to make a donation. In the description, you will also find links to other series that are very different from this one. I think you will find something there that surprises you in a good way. Take care until next time, and come back for the next story when you want a clear voice and no costumes.